knowledge credit card. Probably a strong and youthful man. For God and country, freely pledge we all, led by the flag for which we stand. Blue for the mind that seeks the good and true, red for our progress in the game, white for the glory of a heart that's pure, bright with an ever-shining flame. Alma Mater, we hail, don't give the earth and great success. With truth and love will conquer all, for God, our land, and SFS. Alma Mater, we hail, God give the earth and great success. With truth and love will conquer all, for God, our land, and SFS. With truth and love, let us united be, true to our glorious college dream. High on the hill, a beacon light is sheen, leading our children on to faith. March on to glory is a message bold, spread truth and love far and wide. Loyal to the hands who reigns of guidance, teacher and pupil side by side. Alma Mater, we hail, God give the earth and great success. With truth and love will conquer all, for God, our land, and SFS. God give the earth and great success. With truth and SFS.
Hello and good morning to all. This is Sahil Mishra with the SFS College in collaboration with Indian Institute of Science and Religion, IISR Delhi, are indeed glad to host this webinar on recent developments in artificial intelligence and their impact on religion and society. Let me briefly introduce to you our esteemed institution, St. Francis Research College, Nagpur. St. Francis Research College was established in 1956. It is a Christian minority institute managed by the Catholic Archdiocese of Nagpur and is inspired by the teachings and love of Jesus Christ concerned with holistic developments of the students. Our college is government-rated college and is affiliated to the Rashtriya Sant Tukaramji Maharaj Nagpur University and has been accredited with an A grade with a CGPA 3.23 by National Assessment and Accreditation Council NAC, Bangalore, which is an autonomous institute of the University Grant Commission UGC. Now, I request Susan ma'am to introduce CIDRES.
Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, yeah.
Center for Dialogue Between Religion, Education, Science and Society, CIDRES, is forum launched on 24 January 2006 to blend harmoniously and creatively the latest finding of modern science and deepest insight of religions to build up a better India in her multi-religious, multicultural and multiracial context in collaboration with IISR, Indian Institute of Science and Religion, Delhi. It has been carrying out its noble and timely mission by jointly conducting conferences, seminars, essay competitions, debates, etc. on different themes related to science-religion interfacing for the staff and students of SFS College and other educational institutions. The awareness is growing today that science-religion dialogue is an urgent need of our times and provides a platform for scientists, religious thinkers, and other scholars of society to share their knowledge and experience on various issues related to the relationship between modern science and contemporary religions. This time, the national webinar centers on recent developments in the field of artificial intelligence and their impact on religion and society. Several nationally and internationally reputed scholars will share their ideas on the theme. We consider it to be our privilege and honor to invite you for this special event. The sequence of today's program is as follows. First, we have the inaugural speech by our respected Dr. Christopher Abraham, followed by enlightening talks by Professor Kozhamthadam, Dr. A. Sebastian, Dr. Allan Tavares, and by Dr. Susan John. And after followed by concluding remarks by Professor Kozhamthadam. Neha, please mute the mic. Neha, mute the mic. I am sure we are going to have a great session this morning. I request you all to stay tuned till the end. You can post your queries to the concerned resource person or ask them at the end of the session in the chat box in the Google Meet or YouTube. We will forward it to the speaker and all your queries will be addressed at the end of the talk. Now moving towards our inaugural session, let me briefly introduce today's chief guest for inauguration, Dr. Christopher. Dr. Christopher Abraham has 3 masters in business administration, HRM and law, and is a PhD in design thinking and innovation. He is also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, UK, a certified design thinker from IDEO Stanford. He has 34 years of experience in management consulting, marketing, and management education in India, Canada, Singapore, and UAE. Currently, he is a CEO and head Dubai campus at SP Jain School of Global Management, a world's top 10 ranked Australian business school. Dr. Abraham has been a visiting professor at universities in Australia, USA, Canada, Singapore, and UK. His area of competence are strategy, behavioral design, new business models, design thinking and innovation, neuroscience of design making, positive organizational behavior, and science of happiness. He has won many awards, which includes Education Leadership Award given by World Leadership Congress 2015 and 2017. He also got World Best CEO award given by Indo-UAE Business Forum 2018 and 2019, and many more such awards he got. He is also Global Advisory Board member of World CMO Council of World Sustainability Forum. We welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and a very good morning and very good day if you're from another part of the world. It's such an honor and privilege and pleasure to be here amongst all of you to talk about an extremely important topic which bridges artificial intelligence and human wisdom. So it's my pleasure and privilege to offer the first inaugural address, which tries to look at where is artificial intelligence going, and from where we should also see how we can balance humanity. I think in the last 10 to 20 years, the last 2 decades, if I may call it, we have been overwhelmed by technology. Technology is important. Technology is an important tool, but I don't think as human beings with God-given wisdom, we need to allow technology to overwhelm us. Yes, over the last few years, there's been some remarkable achievements, fascinating growth and development in a number of fields, including agriculture, biotechnology, finance, education, agriculture, so on and so forth. But the really important thing is that we need to be extremely conscious and careful about how we use these technologies. From blockchain technology to genome sequencing to robotics to energy storage and artificial intelligence, there are tremendous developments happening across. In the field of healthcare, we're talking about personalized, data-driven healthcare. We are talking about vertical farming, and from where I come from, I live and work in Dubai. Just about 10 kilometers away from Dubai, there's another emirate called Sharjah, where they have a 700-acre land, which, please remember, is a desert, which 365 days of the year offers agricultural produce of the freshest kind. That's vertical farming and artificial intelligence and all the latest technologies which facilitate that kind of a remarkable breakthrough. So from personalized medicine to vertical farming to 3D printing of houses to robotics, you name it, we have it. But having said that, I think it's time for us to relook on not focusing on just the technology, but focusing on what is currently and preparing humanity for what might be. Some of the mega shifts that are happening include robotization, automation, augmentation, cognification, disintermediation, platformization, personalization, simulation, and virtualization, along with big data and data analytics. These are mega shifts. And also remember that these could be combinatorial, which means you combine different technologies to produce something else. And this is going to be increasingly the future, which means we would have a lot of technology that complements us. But having said that, how do we, in spite of all these fascinating developments happen, how do we remain deeply rooted as human? I think that's an extremely important, not just an existential question, not just a philosophic question, but I think a question that also hovers around ethics and values and what we are as human beings. Now, on one hand, we feel overwhelmed, as I said, by artificial intelligence, but let's remember, at the moment, the current state of artificial intelligence is that it is narrow. We call it narrow artificial intelligence. In a decade or so, we are likely to move over the threshold to arrive at what we call artificial general intelligence, which means machines which can work as good, if not better, than human beings. And that, at a personal level, I believe, is a kind of dangerous singularity which we need to be extremely cognizant and conscious. The third level, of course, is not what we want to happen, which is artificial superintelligence. So I'm just giving you the sequences: artificial narrow, artificial general, and artificial superintelligence, where artificial intelligence is more superior to human intelligence. But having said that, I want to pose with you this morning a few human qualities, starting with ethics, values, consciousness, empathy, imagination, creativity, emotions, intuition, compassion and love, and last but not the least, the mystery of human existence. These are very human. And we need to understand that, yes, we live in an algorithm-driven world, which very often could be prejudiced and biased. But could we understand the significance of these human dimensions and ensure that we don't lose them? Because at the end of the day, data and information is not knowledge. It's not just understanding. It's not wisdom, and it's not purpose. What it means is that humans possess wisdom. Humans, in fact, today, molecular biology teaches us that every single cell in the human being is purpose-driven, which talks about the magnificence of God's creation among all of humanity. So I think we need to be extremely careful that digital transformation does not overwhelm nor overcome us. We need to understand the power of humanity and the power of human values and the power of human ethics. Because if we lose that, then we are in for trouble. So how do we go about doing this? Here are a couple of thoughts that while we understand the growing significance of artificial intelligence, let us also remember that what we need is to be deeply rooted as human beings. And what it means is that things which can't be automated will remain forever extremely rare. And for all of us sitting here, yes, AI can do a lot of things for us in healthcare, in agriculture, in education, in finance, in various other fields. But we also need to remember that science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the STEM as we call it, should be balanced with what we call humanity, ethics, creativity, imagination. So from one hand, yes, technology, but on the other hand, humanity should be understood. And while we talk about corporatization of technology. Let's move away from the obsession towards profits to a focus on the planet, to a focus on the purpose, to the focus on people, and focus on prosperity, what we call sustainable capitalism, aided, of course, by intelligence and human wisdom. The planet, because we are messing it up big time, and we need to have a purpose. And as I said, it's biologically endowed in all of us. Humanity, that's people, and then prosperity, not just for a small percentage of human beings in the world, but for everybody. I want to leave you with this final thought that yes, technology can be a good servant, but we never allow it to become a bad master. At the end of the day, our destinies and destinations should be driven by Almighty God rather than man's limited potential of the brain. So with those few words, I want to thank SFS College for an amazing conference that you have put across. I want to thank Principal Dr. Thomas for giving me this opportunity. And I want to wish the conference the very best of success. Good luck, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for blessing us with your kind words and thus setting the tone for this program. We are indeed grateful to you for your presence and for giving us your valuable time. We always look forward to your blessings and guidance in our future endeavors. Thank you, sir. We are moving towards our first presentation. I hand over the proceedings to Ms. Itika Lakkewar.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello, everyone. Very good morning to all. I, Ms. Itika Lakkewar, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, St. Francis de Sales College, Nagpur. Let me introduce our today's first speaker, Dr. Father Job. Father Job is founder and president of Indian Institute of Science and Religion, IISR. He is also a member of many organizations, which includes New York Academy of Sciences, USA, British Society for the Philosophy of Science, International Society for History of Science, etc. He won many academic awards, including author of Outstanding Academic Book of the Year 1994 by Choice Magazine for his work on Kepler's laws, the interaction of science, philosophy, and religion. And list goes on. He also published many national and international papers in the field of science and religion. We welcome you, Father. Now, I request Father to deliver his talk. Over to you, Father. Excuse me, Father. Father, your mic is mute.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes, Father.
Okay, thank you, Itika, for your kind words and generous introduction. And thanks a lot to Dr. Chris Abraham for the very thought-provoking, beautiful, concise and precise statements you made. I'm very happy about it. And that really sets the tone for the whole day's events. And, now just following it up, or, continuing the same train of thought, the last sentence which Dr. Chris Abraham mentioned was, technology, let us honor or let us respect technology as a good companion, good servant. Let's use the word servant, let's use a good companion. And but not a bad master. Not a bad master. Others, I would put the same thing in a slightly different way, same idea, that technology and human wisdom or human capabilities are complementary to each other. One completes the other. They are not competing with each other. They are not trying to suppress or oppress the other one. They are complementing each other, enriching each other, enriching humanity as a result of this. So I would look at technology and great developments in technology as part of this, part of the evolutionary process that have been set in motion right from the beginning of our universe. I'm a firm believer in the evolutionary theory or evolutionary characteristic of our world. Evolutionary, of course. For me, I don't subscribe fully to Darwin's ideas of atheistic evolution. No, I don't see any reason why it should be atheistic. No, there's no reason whatever. And again, there also I'll find, the evolutionary process is scientific as well as it has got a deeper dimension. That means there is a source. You see, the evolution of what? Evolution of a particular line of development or a particular species, particular development of species. All right, and obviously that there has to be something coming from outside of this evolutionary process or evolutionary world. So you cannot escape from that. Okay? And so you see the atheistic understanding, purely atheistic understanding of evolution doesn't make much sense to me, or at least I'm unhappy about it. So mine is a theistic evolution, where science has given full credit. At the same time, there should be some force, some agency that goes beyond science. Okay. Anyway, that is just I was by way of introduction, I was been doing this. Now my presentation is going to be somewhat general and also very very incomplete, as already been mentioned. Technology is developing every day. Or it is every day, as was mentioned, that even in the case of AI, artificial intelligence, we have got a narrow artificial intelligence. That is more or less the stage we are in now, because this artificial intelligence, this whole business, or neurological sciences, these are very very new, very very young. Actually, we call the decade 1990 to 2000. That decade is known as the decade of the brain. That's a time when science and technology made tremendous progress, in our understanding of the human brain and human mind and human inner activities. And that's only 20 years old. During these 20 years, this neurological sciences, our understanding of brain, understanding of neurology have taken a quantum jump, really a quantum jump. Tremendous developments have been taking place, but still we are in the initial stages. That means many, many wonderful things are to come, and we can look forward to the developments in AI with great hope, great expectation, and great unprecedented developments. But at the same time, as already mentioned by Dr. Chris and other people also will say the same thing, we can never forget humanity. Remember, we are, the science is by humans and for humans. So, and this was the understanding of science. I'm talking about modern science, when it was inaugurated, as it were, in the 16th century. Science is by humans. All right, it's a human achievement, perhaps the greatest achievement humans have succeeded in getting. Okay, but at the same time, it is by humans and for humans, so it can never go against humans. And this would mean that whatever be the development science makes, now, as mentioned here, narrow artificial intelligence is there. Then artificial general intelligence, which applies, I think, the wider world. And then we have finally the artificial super intelligence. All these things are very good, and I will wholeheartedly welcome them. But still, we cannot forget that science is by humans and for humans. And so no scientific development can harm and go against the legitimate interests of humans, the legitimate expectations of humans, the legitimate respect and worth of humans. I put it this way, just give an analogy. Just give an analogy or an example. Just think about, let us think about a family situation. Nowadays, we know very well the children outsmart their parents. As the children get more education, more exposure to this thing and so on, their parents may have village people. Okay, they're village people, their knowledge is very limited. And here I am, son of a farmer or son of a villager who can speak about all kinds of things, but I can never forget my roots. And so whatever be the improvement I have made, I will still remain respectful, grateful to my parents. My intellectual development in no way undermines my respect, my love, and my gratitude to my parents. That this, and because that is a great value for me. So you see, this is the type of situation I would envisage. Science should make a tremendous progress. Let it make as much progress as possible, but should never lose sight of its roots and its purpose, its original purpose, and also its role in the development of humans. You see, and so this is, and that is why we talk about science-region dialogue. Where do we get all these values? Usually, we get these values from our society and various sources. But one of the main sources is a good religion. I'm not talking about superstitious type of religion, enlightened type of religion. And because religions has got a great tradition, great experience. In light of this tradition and experience, religion has developed. Religion has developed certain precious values, and these values can never be ignored. They all again work together. These values and scientific development, they also are complementary to each other. They have to go hand in hand. I may become a super rich man, super intelligent man, but I cannot forget my brother or sister next door to me, who may not be that educated. I should respect that person. I should be sensitive to that person. I should be empathetic towards that person. You see, and this is the basic understanding of science-religion interfacing or science-religion dialogue. Okay, now I think very little time is given to me, so let me move into my subject itself. Okay, and this is going to be a bit of an interactive session, so I'll give you some ideas. I don't have some ideas I'll give you, and then I expect certain queries, questions, or interaction from my listeners, and then I will try to give some answers if I have any, or add some certain things to which I have already to what I have already said, and so on. So that will be the procedure as I envisage an interactive session. So now let me begin. Some facts, to begin with some facts. Oh, before that, what is the main thrust or main point I am aiming at? I am asking a simple question. Can smart machines outsmart humans? Can smart machines, now day before yesterday, there was some big write-up about in Times of India about some new development that is taking place in artificial intelligence. Some very new development. All these things, very good. I welcome them all. But can these outsmart humans? That is a question I am asking. And I will try to answer it in my own simple way. And you also can answer it. And we can interact on this issue and, take this webinar forward that way. Okay, first of all, some facts. The human brain is the most complex being in the whole universe in so many different ways. There are around 86 billion neurons in a typical human brain. 86 billion neurons. Neurons are brain cells or nerve cells. 86 billion. Some of them will give it a bigger figure, but anyway, around 86, more or less, accepted by the scientific community. Neurons are there, and not the neurons are there. And then what makes it even more fantastic is the interconnectivity. You see, these neurons are not independent cells sitting there. They're interconnected. And we talk about those connections as synapses, the junctions or connections. And how many of them are there? Once again, all these numbers are meant only to give you a feel of the subject. You should not be you should not be taking them as literally exactly this is the amount. It is not like that. It is giving you a sense of the mystery and the mysteriousness of the human brain. 125 trillion synapses, interconnectedness. And that is how the brain functions, and that is why the brain is such a fantastic thing. And it's the human brain that made science possible. These are the activities of the human brain, creative activities of the human brain that science is possible. So we have got, and this 125 trillion synapses are in the cerebral cortex alone. And if you take the whole brain, there will be even more. Now, brain processing. And this brain, we are talking about artificial intelligence. And whenever we talk about artificial intelligence, we are in the computer world, then processing comes in there. And the brain, to a great extent, is like a computer. So a tremendous amount of processing is going on. How much? Well, they are saying the brain can process 11 million bits of information every second, per second. 11 million. But, there are, that is a maximum possibility, but there are restrictions. There are conditions for that. And given all these conditions and restrictions, they say, but our conscious mind can handle only 40 to 50 bits of information per second. The capability is fantastic. And hopefully with the development of science, more and more of these capabilities will become realities. Right now, they are only capabilities. They are possibilities. But it become realities as science progresses more and more. Right now, scientists are telling us roughly 40 to 50 bits only. Now, how does this thing compare with the fastest computer today? Again, some statistics I'm giving you. The fastest computer in the world, as of November 2020, the latest, today's, I did not have the information, but at the end of last year, this was the idea. The computer of a Japanese computer of Fujaku, the Japanese computing cluster is considered the fastest supercomputer in the world. Okay, and it can perform 442 petaflops operations per second. One petaflop, it's a sort of a unit for computing speed of processing of a computer. It's equal to 1,000 trillion floating point operations. Trillion means 1 followed by 9 zeros. 1,000 trillion would mean you have to add 3 more zeros to it. So the speed is fantastic. That's the speed with which the fastest computer right now is processing data. Tremendous success. Okay. Now, one more thing, another thing. The plasticity of the brain. When I began studying about the brain, I'm basically a physicist, not a computer specialist. So my computer knowledge is somewhat limited. Okay. Anyway, when I began studying this thing about 20, 30 years ago, they said, brain once you are born and such a little bit of development will be after birth. Afterwards, the brain cells do not multiply, they do not change, they are fixed. And suppose you get some brain damage done because of accident or something, you are finished. That cannot be repaired. That cannot be rejuvenated. But today, thanks to more understanding of it, they say this plasticity of this one. That means it has a capacity to do a number of things, to repair itself. For instance, capacity to reorganize its pathways. When one pathway is blocked, it will reorganize it to some other pathway, and so that the activities can continue. And it can also create new connections. Some connections may get damaged because of various reasons. It can get new connections. And not only that, in certain ways, not in every way, in some cases, it can even create new neurons. So if you had a major accident and you lost a part of your neurons, part of your, you don't have to give up hope. Olden times, as I said, 20 years ago, people gave up hope. Today, no. The better knowledge. And the brain has got this ability. Now, some time ago, I read somewhere, even in the whole human body, when a particular part of the body is damaged because of accident or sickness or something, then, the cells which are nearby, they will slowly take over the function of the damaged cells. Fantastic thing. I felt so happy when I read about that, And now they are saying the brain, earlier they thought brain will not do that. Even brain can do this. Suppose some damages come, the nearby brain, it will take some time, slowly, if you allow the brain to be itself and to function in the normal way, slowly, the neighboring neurons or brain cells will take over the function that has been made impossible because of accident or other damages. Fantastic thing. These are some of the things that is going on. And this is what we refer to as the plasticity of brain. Okay. Now let me come over to intelligent and smart machines. Now I'm talking about artificial intelligence. The fundamental question each of you will ask is, what is intelligence? What do you mean by intelligence? And there is no clear-cut definition for intelligence. In general terms, in a very, very general terms, we can say intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. But if you go into the net and look over some books, you refer to many, many more things will be given. But basically, it is the ability to acquire knowledge and also skills, and also to use this one creatively and constructively. And that is what intelligence is. And wisdom is, of course, connected to intelligence. Wisdom and intelligence differ from itself, but wisdom is experience-based. Intelligence also is experience-based, but wisdom comes through experience. People, as they become older and older, they become more wise. They may not have more data, but they become more wise because more experience are coming, and the experience has contributed to the advancement of their brain power or thinking power or intellectual capabilities. And then artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is intelligence displayed by machines. Smart machines, we call them. Smart machines are machines which use artificial intelligence. And, artificial intelligence. And you probably, all of you, I'm not really probably, I'm sure all of you know Sophia. Sophia or Sophia, some people call it Sophia, the robot from Hong Kong. And that Hanson Robotics company came up with, I think, in 2016 or 15 or something like that. With this Sophia or Sophia, as a robot. Fantastic. And she has, I call her she, that is, strictly speaking, I should not call her she, but let's call it she, because the Saudi government has given her citizenship. So next time, if there is an election in Saudi Arabia, a democratic election, she can go, this machine can go and vote. And there are many, supposing they have got many of those things, they can vote and they can even turn the scale in their favor. Anyway, so that is the one of the best examples of humanoid. They're known as humanoid or artificial intelligence driven smart machine. You see, I happened, I used to follow this Sophia quite closely. I happened to see one day when that that her head was open, the top part is open. My goodness. Then from that, outside she looked like one of those famous Hollywood actresses. I forget the name right now. And but when you look into that thing, the number of wires and this and that, it looks like some of the complicated electric connections. You'll find in big cities when these electricians are repairing, and they open up that box where all the connections are there, and you look at that thing. It is simply so many wires going this way, that way, that way, that way. This is what we have inside Sophia's beautiful face and beautiful head. And anyway, and so this lady, this particular thing is one of the supreme examples of best examples of humanoid or artificial intelligence driven machines. Okay, now the whole question is, now that Saudi Arabia has given it a citizenship, can we consider Sophia as a human person? Can you consider that one as and can we consider her as a responsible person? Suppose because of that one, somebody gets hurt. And one time she made a statement, I will destroy the whole of humanity. Your interview was going on and smoothly going on. Suddenly, a statement comes from this Sophia, I will destroy the whole of humanity. And we are those of us who were watching got shocked, because we thought an intelligent machine so beautifully was talking, answering, but then this nonsensical statement comes. And you know what? I was observing very carefully. No reaction whatever from Sophia. No reaction at all. Nonchalant. Absolutely no reaction. Didn't understand that I have made a blunder. Everybody else, even a villager would have understood that she made a blunder, but she did not understand. No consciousness in her. It is a parroted action. Like a parrot speaking out, saying certain things. Is a programmed thing. It is not a conscious action. So one of the major problems is the smart machines, they don't have consciousness so far. Maybe eventually consciousness, they may be able to put it. I have serious doubt about it, but it may be there. There's no consciousness. They have no emotions. Now this Sophia is capable of 50 plus facial expressions. So sometimes when you're talking to her, she shows surprise and you'll be happy because it is a surprise moment. But there are occasions when there is no surprise at all, but this only showing surprise. You see? Anyway, so consciousness is missing. Awareness is missing, for Sophia. And when my time gets over, please give me a warning for 4 or 5 minutes in advance so that I will not take time away from the other speakers. Okay? Please, the chairperson, please give me a warning so that I can conclude the thing on time so that our meeting, our other sessions will go smoothly. Okay, and so you see this kind of these things are there, and lack of understanding, and we could see in this one lack of understanding, lack of creativity. Certain amount of creativity is there, but important creativity is not there. And Einstein's, some of his relativity was a counterintuitive counterintuitive theory. We never expected that kind of theory to come out. That is real creativity. We don't find much creativity, a little bit of creativity here, there maybe in this robotics or humanoids, but very limited creativity. Another thing which they lack is conceptualization. Conceptualization would mean that there is flexibility has to be given to the brain, to the agent. That flexibility. certain indeterminacy will have to be given to this one. Then only conceptualization can take place. Human mind, human brain is capable of doing that. So far as I know, this conceptualization is not possible for this. Okay. Now, already mentioned by Dr. Chris, compassion, sympathy, and all those things, these things are also not there. And so these machines, these smart machines, they are still very much in their, as you mentioned, in their narrow state. And even when they develop, I'm not so sure whether they will be able to this thing. And so my conclusion in this context will be that the machines, no matter how developed they become, remember, all these are silicon based. Silicon is one of the material thing, and its possibilities are very limited. Since it is silicon based, matter based, its possibilities are limited. They got tremendous, lots of possibilities, but they are limited. Whereas in humans or human brain, something called that spiritual, what it is, I cannot say exactly. Some kind of a spiritual, something which goes beyond pure materiality is there. And that also gives tremendous amount of possibilities, tremendous amount of capabilities. And that is why the human mind can be so creative. Einstein can come up with an idea which nobody could understand at that time. Even Einstein himself must have had difficulty because of mathematics, because of his commitment to mathematics, he accepted it. Why is that? Because of tremendous capability of this, some kind of a spiritual thing within us, within humans. And within all living beings, but particularly in humans. And that is responsible for creativity. That's responsible for conceptualization. So these machines are not capable of doing that. You see? So in these kind of areas, the machines, you cannot say how can outsmart us. But there are some areas where the machine can outsmart us. Storage of information. When it comes to storage of information, my mind, God has given me a rather good memory, but still my storage is very, very limited. Okay, but the computer, an AI machine can store a fantastic amount of material. So storage capability, fantastic. Accuracy of information. Mine, as we humans, our accuracy is not always very reliable. We can go inaccurate. We can be inaccurate. Retention of information, our ability to retain certain things, we have difficulty. Okay, and there also the machines have got the advantage, and speed and efficiency. There also machines have got the advantage. You see, so in some areas, even now they are superior to humans, but some other very important areas, no, they are not. And that is why I'm saying what we need is a complementarity relationship. These machines, fantastic. They are a great achievement of humans. Use them by all means. And human wisdom, human brain, and human mind. These two go hand in hand. They go as companions. They are complementary to each other, and one will assist the other. One will fill in what the other is missing, and vice versa. So that is what we would like to do that. And as I mentioned, to do this kind of thing, you have to bring in values. You have to bring in values. You have to go a little bit beyond science, and you have to bring in values. And this will be resulting in the constructive, collaborative, and fruitful interaction between scientific developments and religious or ethical values. These two together should go together. And so I very often tell people, as science develops more and more, the need for values being integrated into it also increases. And now, as Dr. Chris said, we may reach a stage where super intelligence, artificial super intelligence may come. Very good. But at that time, I can tell you, at that time, there will be greater need for making sure that that super intelligence is used in the right way, in a constructive way, in a helpful way, in a way that will enrich humans, enrich our world, not to destroy it. You see, and so as let me conclude, as science develops, as artificial intelligence capabilities develop, the need for values will also increase. The need for empathy, need for understanding about my brothers and sisters, and need for concern for my brothers and sisters will also increase. Greater need for that. So, as science develops more and more, science-religion dialogue becomes not only an option, and I would even dare to say it will become an obligation. We have to pay attention to the value systems. So as science develops more and more, the need for ethical values, need for concern for our brothers and sisters will also grow. And as I say, it will become not just an option, which you may or may not accept, but it will become an obligation. And so with this statement, I conclude my point. And as I say, I have given only general ideas. And if you want clarifications, we can have an interactive session later on sometime during the seminar. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I wish the very best to the other speakers. I happen to be the first speaker or second speaker. Other speakers, I wish them all the very best. Thank you very much to the organizers for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Father. After the valuable session by Father Job, we are sure that all the participants have benefited a lot. This benefits has encouraged them to know more, and they have posted some important questions on YouTube and Google Meet. For questions, I hand over the proceedings to Sahil. Over to you, Sahil.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Father, the first question is, how do machines affect human behavior and interactions?
Once again, please. How do?
A machine affects human behavior and interaction.
Yeah. You see, basically what we're asking is, how does interfacing between machine and humans take place? That is basically you're asking. You see, how do this take place? Because you see now when we talk about machines, or for that matter, scientific tools, and these things, we are talking about chemicals, we are talking about special abilities. Cyborg. I don't know if you are familiar with that. Cyborg. Cyborg is is a being that is partially machine and partially human, and they interact with each other. Now, suppose you lost your leg. Now there are certain methods for giving you an artificial leg and then making that leg somewhat like living leg. That means it can respond to certain stimuli and all those things. So they can do that. That is, so how does it happen? But right now it is happening only in a limited way, and this is happening by assisting the human body to carry out its function. And as I say, that the interfacing is not very smooth, and because it's still in the initial stages, and so it will not be behaving exactly like a natural leg, but many things which natural legs does can, by putting sensors into it. The technology for that is you put sensors into your the artificial limb or something which you put there, and the sensors are very good. They are very powerful. That is how they using sensors. That will be the one-word answer.
The next question is, what are the ethical concerns around AI?
Well, as I told you, ethical concerns, for instance, you see, science, strictly speaking, AI, strictly speaking, is neutral. AI can be used, you see. Now, one frightening thing which I read a couple of years, last year before last, 2 years ago, is now the scientists, neurological scientists, neurology is able to download the data from your mind, from your brain. Now that they have to some extent succeeded downloading it. Now it is possible that they can if downloading is possible, uploading is also possible. It might take more time. Now I can upload into somebody's head. Go and whenever you see a black fellow, shoot that person. I can put that thing in the head of the the brain of that one, and as soon as he sees somebody dark in a dark complexion, you shoot. When racial problems, we all know, we hear about it in the newspapers. You see, so AI can be used for destructive purposes. We cannot allow that. And you have to say a human person is a value in himself or herself. A human person is an end in himself or herself. It cannot be treated like a machine. You see, and who tells science that? Ethical values will tell that. If you don't have values, I'm capable of doing that, shooting anybody, I'll shoot. I don't care what happens. No, you cannot. So ethical values will tell you, no, sir, please don't do that. That is beyond you. And once a religion, how does religion get in there? Religion has tremendous power over us, influence over us. But if it's an religiously validated value, it has got more power. It has got more traction. And so we respect those values even more. That is one way why religion is connected to this whole process.
Thank you very much, Father.
This question answer session was really enlightening, informative, and interactive. We are very grateful to Father Joe, who have given informative talk on recent developments of AI and ethics. And I am quite sure our participants really benefited a lot. Once again, thank you, Father.
Thanks,
now, we are moving towards to our second presentation. I hand over the proceedings to Ms. Neha Shinde, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, as we are moving towards our second presentation, I, Ms. Neha Shinde, Assistant Professor of Computer Science Department, on behalf of St. Francis Teachers College and the entire fraternity of this institution, is highly honored to introduce you to our second speaker of the day, Father Dr. Sebastian. Father Sebastian is a controller of examination from St.Xavier College of Management and Technology, Patna. Father Sebastian lives with objective to pursue research and work in competitive as well as challenging environment to contribute the best of his ability towards the R&D and application. He fully utilizes interpersonal and academic skill to educate the students. Father has several international and national publications to his name. He has also presented paper at international conference at the University Technology Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, and also delivered keynote address in CSIR SIR sponsors international workshop on graph theory and Internet of Things in engineering at Vellore Institute of Technology, Chennai. He was also invited to deliver his talk in the International Conference on Computing Science, ICASRS 2018 at Loyola College, Chennai. Father, we are indeed privileged to have you with us. Dear participants, please join me in welcoming Father Dr. Sebastian. I request Father to deliver his talk. Over to you, Father.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just share you the screen, which I have. Okay. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today's talk, as Father Job clearly mentioned about artificial intelligence, focusing mainly on robotics. So I will not discuss about that. But I want to just give you introduction about recent trends in the computing technology, and also for the students, what exactly is artificial intelligence, some of the main applications that we are using of artificial intelligence. More and more we need to realize, whether you like it or not, from the time we get up throughout the day, there are a lot of things we are involved in artificial intelligence. The final session, which means the final talk, some of the important concerns as I have gone through this topic and I am working with this, which raises serious questions, serious doubts about the artificial intelligence with human interaction. So I'll be dealing with some of these things. Some of the recent trends in computing technology, they say 10 of them. These technologies will remain with us maybe another 10 to 15 years, we can say 20 years, changing our personal lives, changing the way we study, we learn, we work, change the way how we interact with one another, our business entities, society, and the world at large. Okay, so to start with, automation, you find on the left, automation is one of them, and also virtual reality and artificial intelligence and machine learning, and of course a vast subject called Internet of Things, where sensor-based, low-powered, lossy networks are interactive to produce some actuating results. Then you have got a huge line of blockchain technology to produce security to the systems, to the transactions, to interactions that is taking place, and also 5G technology that we find, voice technology, more and more people are using this even in ordinary our Microsoft Office or even any other voice technology is picking up. Another important technology is analytics. Okay, all our actions, decisions are no more based on papers, write-ups. However, it is based on data. Okay, so all the decisions, whatever concerns it is for profit or loss or yeah.
Excuse me, Father, the PPT is not visible.
Okay, just a minute. What happened to the PPT? Just 1 second. Check it.
Father, I suggest you use a window. Don't do the entire one. Just choose the a window option. Now it's coming.
Now you can see?
Yes.
Yes, Father. Yes, Father.
Okay, good. So I was talking about these advanced recent trends. Okay, so since you have heard, 10 trends are there which will be with us for another 10 to 15 years. And in that, one of them is the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Okay, so next we go how these artificial intelligence work. Basically, you find in the screen two important concepts called machine learning and deep learning. Okay, so machine learning is, there are three things in artificial intelligence. Okay, the first one is intelligence itself. Okay, human beings are by creation given that intelligence. For example, I suppose look at someone, maybe I know him for 20, 30 years, still based on some properties or based on some analysis, I can able to locate this person and say, yeah, I know this person. Okay, or maybe you are in a class, you are in a college, some pictures you know which you have seen. So how these are all human characteristics which we have. So human ability or human mind, human brain has this ability to look at image in the past. I have seen this even in terms of dreams. So such an amount of vast, complicated network is working with them. But the idea is artificial intelligence, whether the same can be repeated in a machine, whether machine can understand, analyze, whether it can accept, it can perceive. Okay, so based on that, you find in the first there is a car, and when a camera a camera captures this car, there are some particular properties that this car should have. For example, it has got wheels, it has got a driving steering wheel, it has got a particular shape. And suppose another 10, 15 images are given of an animal, of a flower, of a person, of a cloud, of a sea, of a sky. Whether this machine is able to extract among all of these features and identify this car and say, yeah, this is a car. The other image is not a car. Okay. So some of these technology that the machine is able to make out is called machine learning. Okay. So you find the feature extraction, we say. So each image will have a particular kind of features which is distinct from other images, by which the machine is able to say, yeah, this is a car, this is a flower, this is a person, this is a train, this is not a tree, etc., etc. Okay, so input and output, you go through some of this, you call it layers, layer 1, layer 2, layer 2, 3, etc., etc. Okay, so machine learning and deep learning also is part of this artificial intelligence. Now I would like to play a video which will clearly tell us what all these things, so that it is easy for us to understand. Just a minute. Let me play it.
Okay, I will display humans.
This video sums up the perception of artificial intelligence from most scientists. At present, there is no risk of being destroyed by machines. However, the tech tycoon Elon Musk begs to differ. He quotes that AI is the fundamental risk to the existence of human civilization. So now let me introduce you to artificial intelligence. The term artificial intelligence was first coined decades ago in the year 1956 by John McCarthy at the Dartmouth Conference. He defined artificial intelligence as the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. In a sense, AI is a technique of getting machines to work and behave like humans. In the recent past, AI has been able to accomplish this by creating machines and robots that are being used in a wide range of fields, including healthcare, robotics, marketing, business analytics. However, many AI applications are not perceived as AI because people think of artificial intelligence as robots doing our daily chores. But the truth is, artificial intelligence has found its way into our daily lives. For instance, have you ever wondered how Google is able to give you such accurate search results? Or how your Facebook feed always gives you the answer to questions is artificial intelligence. Let me clear a very common misconception. People often tend to think that artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are the same since they have common applications. For example, Siri is an application of AI, machine learning, and deep learning. So how are these technologies related? Artificial intelligence is the science of getting machines to mimic the behavior of humans. Machine learning is a subset of AI that focuses on getting machines to make decisions by feeding them data. On the other hand, deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses the concept of neural networks to solve complex problems. So to sum it up, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning are interconnected. Machine learning and deep learning aids artificial intelligence by providing a set of algorithms and networks stored data-driven processing.
कनेक्शन को ना रहा करंट को ना रहा
So this is the information our guest speaker talked about: narrow intelligence, general intelligence, and super intelligence. So right now we can say that artificial intelligence technology, it is in the infancy, so it is able to do specific tasks, okay, like catering to the business world, or a simple robotics that's available, or even drone that is available to deliver. But in course of time, we find general intelligence almost they are working hard to replicate how a human person will respond. And in the future, the super intelligence they are trying to do. So these are the some of the simple ways how we can understand artificial intelligence. We go back to our screen so that I can proceed with what I have to say. Okay, so as I said earlier, whether we like it or not, there are so much artificial intelligence applications that we use in our day-to-day life. For example, when you take up Google, the simple Gmail that we use, okay, the Gmail is able to analyze itself, the incoming mail, whether it is a spam, whether it is based on some folders, things like that. So it has a simple ability to analyze the incoming mails, and also when you reply that mail, it also suggests, okay, the captions, the words which you are using predominantly, and even before you could type, it suggests. So all of this involve artificial intelligence that is going on. Even YouTube, many of you are used to YouTube, you browse various contents, and you will realize after some time, the YouTube is tracking all that you are trying to access, trying to browse. So next time when you do related to your search, the YouTube is projecting or showing before you all those YouTube videos. Likewise, Google search engine, Google Assistant. So all of them, some way or other, is trying to capture or trying to access your priorities, your choices, the things which you constantly search, which you leave. So many of these things are done by this artificial intelligence. That's why the moment you download some app and you want to use it, they ask for your email account, which means in some way or other, they have the whole database of your likes, dislikes, the things, how much time you spend on what, and they are linking that to. That's why suppose you go in Amazon and you are buying a product, and to your surprise, you will see next time when you go to Google search, some of those Amazon products are there showing. How are they able to identify which you have searched in Amazon? So many of these big platform, big technology giants, they are using this artificial technology so that they have a customer base. They want to suggest to you, they want to keep track, they want to make your life comfortable. All of these things are going on. Okay, so more and more I will focus on the way how we use this artificial intelligence in our day-to-day life. Another important one is the social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, etc., etc. Okay, so there is a complicated network, like a neural network, which is used to connect you between your friends, the social relationship, and in course of time, whatever you post, things, it is going to hundreds and thousands of people. Okay, so this is how this artificial intelligence technology is used to provide you platforms or to reach your messages, good, bad, everything, to make your comments reach hundreds and thousands of people. And a lot of these things are there. Online marketing sites are there. Okay, Amazon, and another important, now we find Netflix, Hotstar, movies, sports, TV, entertainment. So why all these are happening in a modern way? All major technology and business houses started using artificial intelligence to upgrade themselves and their technology and also their business services, okay, with the site that they want to give service. At the same time, for all of this, the background technology they use is this artificial intelligence, okay. So we cannot avoid, or we cannot run away, or we cannot, we have to use it, or they will force us to use. At the same time, there are serious challenges which I think I want to present before you, before we take up some discussion. In a general challenge, you can say, when you look at this picture, it's a common sight these days we find. A person is drowning and is looking for help, but we find, I witnessed many times on the roads when people are met with accident, instead of helping them, they are busy taking snaps, and their immediate concern is to reach it, put it in the WhatsApp, put it in the social platform. It raises a lot of question about our values, whatever that we have been discussing. Another important picture I came across, you find in the first picture, two persons, maybe husband and wife, are lovers. They are hugging each other, but their focus is not on the person, but their focus is on the mobile network that they are doing. And another picture also, two persons sitting together, instead of enjoying the food, enjoying the company, they are busy browsing there. So this is a common scene we find in schools, colleges, in our homes, in parks, in shopping complex. The more technologically we are advanced, the more we are getting away from one another. We don't recognize the value of the person who is sitting in front of us. Okay, some of these ethical challenges that artificial intelligence need to take up. The third one is, we find in this picture, you find in the form of capsules. Okay, very interesting. All of these capsules are, see, one is a Facebook, another one is an Instagram, another one is professional studio. Okay, like this. So more and more people are getting addicted to these capsules of social websites, and they have very less time for the friends, family, related, which used to be traditionally strong points of Indian society and Indian family. Now, just to give a mobile, they are happy with that. In our own college also, the other day, our vice principal was discussing with me that students, when they are caught having mobile in the classes, first thing, they come again and again to get the mobile. Almost like without mobile, they can never remain alone, or they can never remain a day. Immediately they do everything, even to pay fine, but they want the mobile back. So such an amount of addiction, slowly these technology is creating in the mind of youngsters and also in the older people. This is another important image that I want to show. The left side, you find young people are moving, but the out product is like some kind of animals or some kind of things which is scary, which means the mobile you enter, it gives you a lot of things, but the final product, you lose a sense of human values, the love, the capacity, the emotions, which for the job and the guest speaker was talking about. In a way, I find it true, these technologies can create that. The right side, we find people are more interested in mobile games than actual games on the field. So all these things, day in and day out, we witness. So these are some of the general challenges, these technologies, advanced technologies that pose before us, which we need to seriously consider and reflect. Still, the coming problems are more serious in nature. The previous one, what I shared, of a general nature, this one, I find it more serious, and we need to discuss about this. First one is the automation and the job loss. Okay, this is a question many of them raise. Okay, so automation, basically the robotics and other machines, they are used for repetitive jobs. Wherever repetitive jobs are there, these machines, based on their algorithm and based on the coding, they are able to do it 24/7, and they are fast and accurate, and they are paid one time. So just they need electricity to perform. In that way, job loss, the human factor of employing, getting the work done, that's a serious concern. We will have to face it, and this is a serious challenge I find. The another one is algorithm versus being. Okay, finally, they are machines. They work based on some principles. They work based on some input coding that is given. If A is there, the result will be B. If C is there, result will be C. So on their own, they have very less to analyze and take choice. But on the other hand, human beings are not only biological machines, but they also have the inbuilt or created qualities of mercy, compassion, love. Okay, many of those things, whatever human beings may try to create a machine, but they can never replace these human concerns, human values that we have got. Okay, that is there. Then another important concern is this artificial democracy. More and more we find this is happening. So using this artificial intelligence, the elections can be tampered. Okay, as we say, this Cambridge Analytica, they were using nowadays also in India. Last election we find, as soon as election is announced, every party is setting up hundreds of people, IT people. What do? They get data, they collect data constituency wise, then they gather various other informations. Based on that, they create captions and logos and videos and digital images. Based on that, they try to create an artificial message that this person is good, that person is not good, and they circulate among people. So in an artificial way, these elections in a democratic setup, more and more, this artificial intelligence is used to create the likes and dislikes, etc. Okay, so that's why even when Donald Trump, former president, won, the Cambridge Analytica has brought out a lot of insight into this. Even in India, this Prashant Kishore is in high demand. Okay, for example, last time Tamil Nadu election he was there, then Bengal election he is there. Why so much? Because this IPAC company is inbuilt and they're paying him 400, 500 crores for every election, which means the democracy itself is no more people with full will, full consciousness, with knowing fully they are doing it, but an artificially created demands, likes and dislikes, etc. All these are taking place using the social websites, but under the current is this artificial intelligence is used. Another important challenge is the power of surveillance. When you walk on the road, when you go to the shopping complex, when you are browsing net in our quiet rooms, but you are not free. Everywhere, all your things are being, surveillance is taking place. And many times, without knowing anything, we ourselves give into this. Okay, so the idea of privacy, individual capacity, the idea of family, many of these things come into question. The next one is Esthetization of Politics, which means politics or religion more and more used in a nice, polished way, using images, digital components, etc., where the person's likingness is used or it is invoked against the other. Okay, so aesthetization means a person more and more, the individual's ability to buy, the individual's ability to look for pleasure, the individual ability or the natural inclination to look for those things are given to that person, so that the person can be easily mobilized or motivated, or the person can be easily drawn towards one idea. Okay, these are all happening even in politics, even WhatsApp. Many of those messages which are not real messages, but people take into this. Even India, okay, animosity against Christians or Muslims, many of these things can take place and it is taking place, and people don't verify the real content that is being posted or circulated. Okay, so what appeals to people? Okay, life is, that is another important concern that these things project before us. People are simply going behind this aesthetic sense without really paying attention to the reality of the this one. The last one, data colonization. Okay, so it was said Saudi Arab countries became rich because of the oil they have got, but in the modern oil of the whole world is data. Okay, so anything and everything, all this artificial intelligence are able to mobilize, take decision based on data. Okay, so anybody who has a data, a big data, multi-billion data, they are going to be the rulers of this world. Why I say colonization? Okay, olden days, let's say British colony, so many colonies were made because they were powerful. And today data is going to be the powerful one. So day in and day out, lot of data is being collected. And this data is managed, manipulated by some particular business companies. Okay, for example, Reliance. I am sure Reliance has more data about Aadhaar card than Indian government itself, because somehow they linked. So using that data, they can do anything, propose their business plans, they will force the business plans. So anyone who has a large amount of data and they have a mechanism to mobilize this data and use it, even the governments cannot acquire them. They will go more powerful than the governments, traditionally democratically elected governments. So this data colonization, it's taking place, which even the governments and their policies are not aware of it. So some of these and many more things are there which are very serious in nature, which will affect not only our individual self, it will affect our family, society, even our religion, even to the nation itself. But in my reading and in my analysis, the political leaders, even the democratic governments, they are not paying enough attention to many of these things, which will become a very dangerous thing for our country and the growth of the country. Okay, so, but behind all this, artificial intelligence, 90% plays a very important role to move all of this. Okay, even for a simple example, it can create a great bias. Okay, as I said, the artificial intelligence is gathering information in that, suppose a black person or a person wearing kurta and a beard, if the coding is given is a Muslim. Okay, so like this, the coding itself or people who are using this intelligence can create bias among people based on religion, based on caste, based on many other factors, which will be uncontrollable. The machine will be stopping them or they will not be allowing them. So a lot of practical implications we have got. To conclude, so artificial intelligence is a future technology which will change the world drastically in the coming years. Human life will be surrounded by sensors, machines, mobile, internet, which we use. As of now, the survey says that each person in India will have 5 to 7 devices, which means almost 25 billion devices. So such an amount of impact these devices will have. However, human and machine debate will continue to choose who is superior, but I believe the right use of artificial intelligence or any advanced technology which is oriented towards growth and well-being and better future of human beings, creation and cosmos should be welcomed. So these are some of my reflections based on this artificial intelligence and advanced technology. Now, if you have any questions, you can suggest. I am ready to answer. Thank you one and all for this opportunity, especially the Dr. Principal and also the organizers, and to you, my students, as well as my staff. Thank you.
After a valuable session by Father Sebastian, we are sure that all the participants have benefited a lot. Now, for the question-answer session, I hand over the proceedings to Sahil. Over to you, Sahil.
Thank you. Father, the question is, will machines create unemployment?
Once again,
I repeat, will machines create unemployment?
Machines create, the last word I am not able to get.
Unemployment.
Unemployment.
Oh, unemployment. Okay. So as I said, job loss is going to happen. Either people have to be trained, okay, suppose particular individual as the technology grows, people will be forced to improve their knowledge, or they will be asked to train themselves. That is number one. Okay. Then job loss itself, finally, it is the human persons who are creating these robots or technology. So robots or technology cannot take over the human self. Finally, human beings are the one which are running whole thing. Okay. So certain amount of job loss will be there, and this job loss will be huge, especially a country like ours, where still education is still, we don't have 100% education, or where agriculture and many other things are there, where unemployed people are there. So India, as far as India is concerned, this artificial intelligence is going to create a big havoc, because our whole social system or even politics, many things, we are not ready for it, or we are not taking enough steps to invest into this, or to frame policies which will not affect people. We are just getting it from other countries and we are just using it. So it's a big challenge, and I don't have correct answers, but surely it will affect. But we are not taking, nobody is taking any stock of this in our country.
This question answer session was really enlightened, informative, and interactive. We are very grateful to Father Sebastian, who have given informative talk on different application on artificial intelligence and ethical challenges. I am pretty sure our participants has really gained a lot. Once again, thank you, Father. Now, we are moving towards our third presentation. I'll now hand over the proceedings to Ms. Marian Wong. Over to you, Marian.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Marian Wong from BCCA Final Year, SFS College. Now, I am delighted to introduce Dr. Menino Allan, SM Peter Tavares, International Center for Acoustics and Soundscaping of Revitalizing Spaces, ICASRS, Goa. He has completed doctoral degree, PhD in Physics, Acoustical Studies of Worship Spaces from RTMN, Nagpur University, Nagpur, Maharashtra, and has certification in Smart City Sound Management by European Acoustical Association, EAA, Leuven, Belgium. He holds a prestigious position in numerous organizations, including founder, head of Olinda Foundation, Goa, for conservation of living heritage and peace leadership, and founder, convener of research of Center for Research and Excellence between Technology, Quest, for the Agnel College, Pilar, Goa. He is also a life member of Acoustical Society of India, ISA, in Delhi, and has taught subjects like peace, leadership, social communication, physics, science, and religion. He has presented many papers and also delivered lectures related to science, physics, acoustics, and conservation. He has received many awards, fellowships, and grants. He is also a playwright, retreat preacher, coach, and trainer for 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and authored a book titled, What Did He Sail For? Along with the above, he is a person who started Center for Dialogue between Religion, Education, Science, and Society, known as CIASRS, along with the former principal, Father Anthony de Souza, inaugurated by the hands of the late Archbishop Abraham, and Father Job of Indian Institute of Science and Religion, IISR, in the year 2006. We welcome you, Father. Over to you, Father. Father, your mic is muted.
Sorry. Thank you, Marian, for your kind words. It always feels good as a student of SFS College to be on any forum of the college. I'm extremely delighted to see you again, Father Job. It's always an honor, a privilege to hear you always. And thank you for all that you do for SFS College, and especially to our CIASRS movement. Thank you, Father Sebastian, for your powerful insights. And I want to thank Dr. Chris Abraham for setting the tone for our session today with his insightful, very concise, precise, thought-provoking observations. Most of it is said. Let me upload my presentation. Is my presentation visible now?
Yes, Father.
Yes, Father.
Okay. Okay. So I go over to my presentation, and just to look at what has already been presented, we've had an interesting sort of a walkthrough, understanding AI along with human wisdom, and looking at the qualities of being human being, which have to all the time outright override our interventions with technology. And then Father Job reminding us that technology and human wisdom complement and enrich humanity. And he going forth to also remind us that it's our experience with all our interventions and inventions, including AI. This experience will bring us the required evolution of human wisdom. And Father Sebastian bringing forth before our mind some of the dangers that we are exposed to and the interventions that we might require to have the right balance between science and religion, technological advancements, along with ethics and religious pursuits. So I would like to ask the basic question here: are artificial intelligence and religion compatible? What are the implications for ethics in society? Let me get the entire screen. So that's the question. And therefore, the first thing is, why is this question being raised of AI and religion's compatibility? We know for sure, as Father Job said, science and religion are companions. They complement and need not be in conflict. And yet, as was observed by Dr. Abraham, we know of areas of conflict in this algorithm-driven world that we live in. So let's look at how we engage science and religion. Our normal reaction is rejection, and that has always happened. And therefore, there were these endless debates, just rejecting. They cannot go together. Where religion is one fossil on one side and science is another fossil on the other side. And we realized it doesn't work. Then was another option which also is equally dangerous, when we just blindly adopt it. We sort of fall in love with our own invention and we make a god out of the molten calf. We just adopt it. And then we suddenly stare at what we have created, what we have invented, and find that it's a bad master and we are in trouble. And then we again come to ground zero. Process that we are looking at is adaptation, where the best of each other creates a win-win situation for all of us. And therefore, let's look at the correlating factors. So the high correlation between religion and technology, where we have the good use of technology, and especially I would say the good use of AI, the artificial intelligence. Most of it is covered, but I'd just like to bring in some elements like, Catholics are very happy today about the confession chatbot app, which is there. So you can really have, people were no longer having the same confidentiality anymore, the trust factor in confession. And with this confession chatbot, you suddenly found that coming alive. It's a live two-way conversation. The person confesses his innermost secrets without any hesitation. Many Catholics are happy about that. Our Buddhist friends are very happy about something like Peppa, the human robot, dressed in traditional Buddhist ceremonial dress, can perform a funeral at a cheaper charge than a human priest. Makes sense in this economical times. Or as Anthony Lewandowski, the ex-Google executive, says, the religion of the future is like, he calls it the way of the future, where he emphasizes on the realization, acceptance, and worship of a Godhead based on artificial intelligence developed through computer hardware and software. So there he goes. Or you have some wonderful apps now for Muslims, Muslim brethren, like Muslim Pro, which shows them daily prayer timetables, notification for both sunrise and sunset, electronic compass pointing the way towards Mecca, many such apps available. So our religious practices are helped, in fact, by the advances in AI. So there is the endless list, it goes on. There's a lot of correlation there. I just want to tell you something very recent. On 28 June 2021, WHO made this observation about AI, that AI holds enormous potential for improving the health of millions around the world if ethics and human rights are at the heart of its design. So this is now the consciousness part. We don't want it to be a bad master, and we know what is required, ethics and human rights, at the heart of its design, deployment, and use. Okay? And because we know the benefits, AI has improved the speed, accuracy of diagnosis, screening of diseases. It assists with clinical care. It strengthens health research, drug development, diverse public health interventions, including outbreak response, health system management. And we saw it during the COVID times, how much it was beneficial in able to track the virus, empower patients to greater control of their own healthcare, enable resource poor countries to breach health service access, get the list goes. There are benefits. What is important is ethics and human rights at the heart of its design, deployment, and use. So where are the areas of conflict? I would say there are worries among believers, there are worries of the society. I'm just picking as sort of, and some of them are what our speakers have already mentioned. The believers, like you have the Herzfeld 2003, the book Hans Moravec's, the AI perspective, that robots could work much better and cheaper than man. And that's a fact. They will work. Because we are still in the narrow age, we are going to move very soon to the general and the super intelligence age. And when they arrive there, obviously robots will work much better and cheaper than man. Because it's not just about the intelligence of man that makes man work, it's also his goodwill, his zest. And today, the laziness factor is higher than many of these things. And robots will not feel lazy, they'll work much better and cheaper. So this is going to compromise the religion's view that God made man on his own image, giving man power over everything on earth. It will also sort of, it puts a question mark that God does not appreciate human advancement that would compromise his own supremacy. We have to use our imagination to understand what will be the status quo when we have the super intelligence stage of the AI arriving. The supremacy of God, which defines the base of religion. The worries of the society is, as the question was raised to Dr. Sebastian, the loss of job opportunities. Obviously, there are going to be loss of job opportunities, but we need to also understand that today the world is moving towards not just entrepreneurship, towards technopreneurship. And these are the predictions. By 2030, nanotechnology could replace human species. Of course, it's a prediction. Not every prediction needs to be real. And then, as Dr. Father Sebastian had pointed out, we have the misuses of AI resulting into a mockery of democracy, artificial aesthetization, where a whole concept of the human perception, the emotions are gone to a toss. And of course, data colonization. You don't know how my data can be used against me by the very apps that I just cannot live without, from app to Facebook, WhatsApp to Facebook. So therefore, there's a very powerful observation which was made very recently on September 15, 2021 by Michelle Bachelet, the UN Human Rights Chief. She said, states should place moratoriums on the sale and use of artificial intelligence systems until adequate safeguards are put in place. An AI application that cannot be used in compliance with international human rights law be banned. It's a powerful statement coming from the UN, and they won't make a statement till they have found findings of their research. And that's where we need to look at how AI can violate our human dignity, our human rights, which is the base of religion. Religions are there in the world so that the human dignity is preserved. Human rights are practiced. Okay, if religions are doing something else besides that, that means religions themselves are losing their focus. But religion was essentially to identify and preserve human dignity and human rights. And the essence of that was understanding the divine in the human. So let's look at some of the violations that have come forth recently and that are creating havoc in their breach against humanity. The Pegasus spyware revelations that we have heard, it has affected about 45 countries across 4 continents, where unprecedented level of surveillance is being done through spywares. And how bad it is when governments themselves are employing the spywares to track down and to punish the dissidents, those who are not with their dispensation. And I imagine if from the government, it goes on to religious in the world using where if the government heads can use, tomorrow the religious heads can use the similar spywares to silence voices of dissent. Failure of due diligence. And when you have a failure of due diligence, it results in the misuse of AI. And just a simple example that I've put in over here, where someone is denied social security benefits because of a faulty AI tool. Or
excuse me, Father. I'm
yes?
Sorry to interrupt, but your slide is not moving. It's only showing the first slide.
Oh, is it? No, but I'm moving my slides.
No, Father, it's not showing here. It's only showing the first slide.
Oh, I have moved it. I've gone pretty ahead. Why is that? Now can you see what I'm doing?
Yes, Father. Now it's visible.
So that means when I put it on the full screen, it doesn't come. Are you able to see my slide now on the AI risks to human dignity?
Yes, Father.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've moved on now to the AI violating human rights. And the first one, as I said, example is the Pegasus spyware, which is used by governments. And I'm scared if it's tomorrow used by religious heads and religions to punish and to silence prophetic voices. Failure of due diligence, as I told you. Someone can be denied his security benefit because of just a faulty AI tool. Or someone can be arrested because of a flawed facial recognition software. Discriminatory data. Huge amount of data today is very silently, secretly stored. And such data, which is out of date, irrelevant, can be exploited for dangerous uses. Inferences, predictions, and monitoring of AI tools into the patterns of human behavior. So when I think someone's phone is ringing.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. So, and we know sometimes before we just put on our screen, we find products which are flashed to us as advertisements just based on our previous searches. It's all the work of AI. Biased data sets relied on AI systems can lead to discriminatory decisions, and this can be bad for marginalized groups. biometric technologies. They can be increasingly used to identify people in real time from a distance, potentially allowing unlimited tracking of individuals, but used without robust privacy, with no data protection standards, can be very dangerous. And therefore, to continue, there's a greater transparency needed by the companies and the states. Why should the public not know how a particular platform of AI is developed and used? Otherwise, the complexity of the data environment, the algorithm, the models underlying the development and operation of the system, and the intentional secrecy of government and private actors are factors which undermine meaningful ways for the public to understand the effects of AI systems on human rights and society. And therefore, as I put as the last point, we need essential guardrails. We cannot afford to continue playing catching up. Like now, what the statement that the UN chief is making on September 15th is trying to catch up with a monster that's grown out of a toy. And that's a dangerous situation. The need of the hour, as I think of it from a philosophical tone, because we cannot find our solutions neither in science nor in religion. We need to find it in a metaphysical dimension. And that's where we need to understand that both science and religion need to create a new leadership vision. We need to clarify and refine and define this vision. Re-examine our goals for the future. Like a simple question that I would like to ask. Are we ready for religions? Relevant? Are we ready as religions, for religions which are relevant for both humans and humanoids? Imagine a church where tomorrow the mass will be attended by both human beings and robots. Will I be comfortable, or will I have to have a robot preaching to them? Are we looking into our future? Therefore, the question is, are our goals compassionate, inclusive, and attend to a diverse population, especially from the marginalized sections? And therefore, the important element are the guiding principles. You may call them ethical principles, but these are important principles that are at the heart of religion and therefore are meant to be at the heart of science. Because as Father Job reminded us, science was always by humans for humans. Therefore, first, protect human autonomy. Protect human autonomy in all the designs and the deliberations. Second, safeguard privacy and confidentiality by providing users with valid informed consent to appropriate legal frameworks. Third, promote human well-being and public interest by ensuring regulatory requirements for safety, accuracy, and efficacy, including measures of quality control. Fourth, transparency and understanding requires information to be published or documented before the AI technology is designed or deployed. Let it go to the public, let it go to the users, get a feedback, not just for the sake of the feedback, but to incorporate the feedback into the design and the deployment. Fifth, ensure inclusiveness, equity, so that AI is accessible to the widest possible number of people, irrespective of age, gender, ethnicity, or other characteristics protected under Human Rights Code. It is going to be a very bad master when it is usurped by a few. Six, transparently assess applications during actual use to determine whether AI responds adequately, appropriately to expectation and requirement. And therefore, there has to be a shift, as Dr. Abram had pointed out, a shift from obsession of profits. Because when you have an obsession for profits, you are in a haste to deploy what you design. You cannot be in a haste with AI. You need testing, a proper understanding for the good of humanity. Therefore, if I would look at the elements of human wisdom over here, we don't let our inventions overwhelm us nor overcome us. So rightly said by Dr. Abraham. We don't let our inventions overwhelm us nor overcome us. Why? Every human being is a unique embodiment of the divine, therefore needs to be valued and respected, especially through our own human inventions such as AI. And the other part of it, do unto the other what you would do unto yourself. That's a golden principle of all religion. So, this has to be the operational principle. This has to be the operational principle in the design and use of AI technology for human progress. Having said that, finally, we need to keep the flame alive. What matters is that we engage science and religion and all their strategies to enrich our experience of the divine and ensure joyful living of a prosperous civilization, not a greedy civilization, a prosperous civilization on a livable planet Earth. Thank you very much. Any questions?
We are very grateful to Dr. Alice Tavares, who has given informative talk on artificial intelligence and religion compatible. I am quite sure our participants really benefited a lot. Once again, thank you, sir. This benefit has encouraged them to know more, and they have posted some questions on YouTube and Google Meet. I hand over the proceedings to Sahil Mishra.
The further question is,
yes,
what is the direct impact on religion due to AI?
I think I have said it before. One direct impact is a good impact, where we have apps which make, and we have forums through AI which make it easier for us to practice our religion. Think of it in the pandemic. If AI was not functioning, we would have had a lot of religious-minded people going into depressions because they would not be able to practice. It's the AI platform that allowed you to be connected to your religious practices. The bad part of it, when we take away ethics, we take away human wisdom from the heart of the design. At the heart of the design are those guiding principles which I have mentioned. Okay? If at the heart of design we have the respect for human dignity, and we have compassion, ethics, empathy, emotion, creativity, imagination, all elements of human wisdom, then the impact has to be good. Even if we move into the super intelligence stage, it won't be an alarming situation. It will be a prosperous situation. Yes.
Thank you very much, Father, for taking our question.
Thank you, Father, for answering the questions. We are moving towards our last presentation. I hand over the proceedings to Ms. Reshma Kazi, ma'am.
Thank you, Marian. Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to you all. I, Reshma Kazi, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, on behalf of St. Francis de Sales College, Nagpur, deemed it my privilege to introduce Dr. Susan John. Dr. Susan John is Associate Professor of Physics in St. Francis de Sales College, Nagpur. Ma'am has won many awards for scoring highest marks in RTM Nagpur University. In MSc Physics, ma'am has completed PhD from RSS ISRO Nagpur. She has also presented and published many papers in the field of physics and science-religion dialogue in national and international conferences. She has organized many national-level conferences in the field of science-religion interfacing in collaboration with Indian Institute of Science and Religion, Delhi. She is also author of 2 books, Respected Susan ma'am, we are very eager and looking forward for your session. Now I invite you to deliver your presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you share my PPT? I am going to talk on developments in artificial intelligence and its impact. Artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in a machine that is programmed to think like humans. The idea of artificial intelligence initially began by the computer scientist from 1943 to 1956. The model proposed by Alan Turing, who is known as the Turing Test. A Turing test is an algorithm that computes the data similar to human nature and behavior for proper response. Alan Turing is known as the father of artificial intelligence as he proposed Turing test, which plays one of the most important roles in the development of artificial intelligence. This test is based on the principle of human intelligence defined by a machine and execute the task simpler than human. The goal of artificial intelligence includes learning, reasoning, and perception. Artificial intelligence is beneficial for different industries where machines are wired for performing complex, difficult tasks. In short, artificial intelligence provides a computer program the ability to think and learn on its own. It is a simulation of human intelligence into machines to do things that we would normally rely on humans. For example, in our day-to-day life, we are using artificial intelligence in the form of fully automatic dishwashers, fully automatic washing machines, microwaves, home entertainment devices, smartphones, desktop computers, etc. So now we are going to see recent developments in artificial intelligence. Here are some of the latest advancements in artificial intelligence as follows. First, in robotic industry. Sophia was first activated on February 14, 2016. As of 2018, Sophia architecture includes scripting software, a chart system, and OpenCog and AI system designed for general reasoning. Sophia imitates human gestures and facial expressions and is able to answer certain questions to make simple conversation on predefined topics. Sophia uses speech recognition technology and is designed to get smarter over the time. Sophia's intelligence software is designed by Hanson Robotics. The AI program analyzes conversation and extract data that allows it to improve responses in the future. Cameras within Sophia's eyes combined with computer algorithm allow her to see. She can follow faces, sustain eye contact, and recognize individuals. She is able to process speech and have conversation using a natural language subsystem. In the year 2018, Sophia was upgraded with functional legs and the ability to walk. Sophia now can emulate more than 60 facial expressions. Sophia is conceptually similar to computer program ELIZA, which was one of the first attempts at stimulating a human conversation. The software has been programmed to give pre-written responses to specific questions or phrases. In 2019, Sophia displayed the ability to create drawings, including portraits. Till today, many more features has been included in her system. Now we will see in wildlife conservation. Historically, conservationists would have to travel wide distances and spend hours in the field in order to study and monitor the biodiversity. However, with the recent developments in artificial intelligence technology, these conservation efforts are now much more thorough and efficient. Artificial intelligence, which is used to monitor wildlife with the help of radar, LIDAR, sonar, GPS, odometry, and inertial measurement units. Advanced control systems interpret sensory information to identify appropriate navigation paths, as well as obstacles and relevant signage. As from Wikipedia, Waymo became the first service provider to offer robo-taxis right to the general public in the year 2020, while Tesla has started introducing full self-driving vehicles, and Neuro has been allowed to start autonomous commercial delivery operations. In healthcare industry, with recent developments in artificial intelligence technologies, the healthcare industry is trying to provide accurate disease diagnosis, improved clinical decision making, and patient care. Telemedicine is being openly adopted by more healthcare institutions for all-time patient care. Telemedicine has also been incorporated with wearable devices for real-time information about patients' data, and with the help of telemedicine apps using useful features like text, video chats, screen sharing, and file transfer, book appointments, follow-ups, and prescriptions, etc. In the field of genetic engineering or genetic modification is the direct manipulation of an organism's genes using biotechnology. It is a set of technologies used to change the genetic makeups of cells, including the transfer of genes within and cross species boundaries to produce improved or novel organisms. New DNA is obtained by either isolating or copying the genetic material of interest using recombinant DNA methods or by artificially synthesizing the DNA. For human beings, it is an extremely tedious and time-consuming process to analyze the vast amount of data that is present in a single person's DNA. This analysis can be made much more efficient and accurate by utilizing machines for their core purpose. Hence, artificial intelligence have been employed for identification of harmful genes and treatment of disease. Machine learning algorithms compare the different gene expression levels in malignant and normal tissue samples of a patient diagnosed with cancer. Thus, prediction can be made about which gene have been mutated in that patient's DNA. AI is also being used to identify genetic mutation within tumors using 3D imaging. Using techniques such as deep learning and neural networks, machines can detect the presence of a mutation so that doctors can better treat the patient without the need to collect a tissue sample from a biopsy and without the risk involved in surgery. Through this process, machine learning presents exciting possibilities in the automation of diagnosis for deadly diseases such as cancer. Some of the advantages in implementation of AI. One of the biggest advantages of artificial intelligence is that it can significantly reduce error and increase accuracy and precision. The decision taken by AI in every step is decided by previously gathered information and a set of algorithms. When programmed properly, the errors can also be reduced to null. Human can overcome many life-threatening risks by letting artificial intelligent robots to do work. For example, defusing a bomb, going to space, exploring the deepest part of ocean, etc. Moreover, they can provide accurate work with greater responsibility, that too without taking any break. Artificial intelligence think much faster than humans and perform multiple tasks at a time with greater accuracy. Unbiased decision by artificial intelligence. A huge advantage of artificial intelligence is that it does not have any biased view, as artificial intelligence is devoid of emotions and highly practical and rational in its approach, which ensures more accurate decision making and improves work efficiency. Now let us see the difficulties in implementation of artificial intelligence. High cost of implementation. Setting up artificial intelligence-based machine, computers, etc. requires huge cost because of its complexity. Further, the expenses does not stop there, as repair and maintenance also require much more money. These artificial intelligence-based software programs require frequent upgradation in order to cater to the requirement of the changing environment, as the machine needs to up to date. In case the software suffers a severe breakdown, then the process of recovering lost codes and reinstalling also involves a huge time and cost. Does not improve with experience. One of the most amazing characteristics of human cognitive power is its ability to develop with age and experience. However, artificial intelligence, as they are machines, they are machines that cannot improve with experience. Rather, it starts to wear and tear with time. Lacks creativity. Although artificial intelligence can help us in designing and creating something special, they still cannot compete with the human brain. Their creativity is limited to the creative ability of the person who programmed it. Human brains are characterized by immense sensitivity and high emotional quotient. Artificial intelligence can become skilled machines, but they can never acquire the ability of human brain. Now we will see the serious effects of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence causes unemployment. Artificial intelligence has improved our world a lot, but there are many concerns regarding its impact, particularly with employment, as millions of people facing unemployment due to automation. Here I would like to say example of introduction of autopilot trains, self-driven cars, etc. Nowadays, virtual assistants are being designed in such a way that they can teach students like human teachers. With the help of telemedicine apps, doctors can directly monitor patients' health, and because of all this, there is decline in requirement of staff. Second biggest indirect challenge, I will here say indirect challenge, is production of e-waste. With the advancement of artificial intelligence, e-waste have been created a lot. Electronic waste or e-waste refer to the disposal of broken or obsolete electronic component and materials. As e-waste is dangerous due to presence of toxic chemicals like beryllium, cadmium, mercury and lead, which pose serious environmental issues to our soil, water, air and not only to wildlife but also to human that naturally leach from the metals inside when buried. Commonly found toxic elements are lead, mercury, cadmium, plastic, including those containing PVC, etc., which cause serious effect to blood, brain damage and poisoning or death for children. It accumulates in the environment. Some of these materials are carcinogenic to both humans and animals when burned due to production of dioxins. When e-waste get buried at a landfill, it can dissolve in microscopic traces that pollute the water with toxic elements. This water under the landfill does not stop below the landfill. It continues to the groundwater and pollute all the sources of fresh water in the surrounding areas. Conclusion. Though artificial intelligence has numerous benefits if implemented in a day-to-day life by making work easier and faster, but it is also becoming a cause for unemployment. So the biggest challenge would be to implement it in such a way that it does not enhance unemployment. Indirectly, it also creates environmental pollution if not disposed properly. Hence, not only safe disposal but also proper e-waste management is needed. Artificial intelligence has massive potential for creating a better world to live in, but we should ensure its proper implementation. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan ma'am. After valuable session by Dr. Susan ma'am, we are sure that all the participants have benefited a lot. Now for the question answer session, I hand over the proceeding to Sahil. Over to you, Sahil.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, the first question is, what is e-management?
E-waste management. E-waste is rich source of metals such as gold, silver, and copper, which can be recovered and brought back into production cycle. Rather than throwing the e-waste into the garbage bin directly, it should be handed over to those agencies who do recycling. Hence, recycling of e-waste should be promoted. Thus, by this, we can protect human and environment. So, this is all about e-waste management, recycling.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am, for taking our question.
Thank you, Sahil. We are very grateful to Dr. Susan John, who has given informative talk on development in artificial intelligence and its impact. And I am quite sure our participants really benefited a lot. Once again, thank you, ma'am. Now I hand over the proceeding to Father Job for concluding remarks. Over to you, Father.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that all the participants will agree that we had a very, very informative, interesting, and fruitful 2 hours and a half hours of exchanging of ideas, asking questions and clarifying things. And so this, this whole seminar has been a tremendous success and an enriching and growth experience for all of us. So I want to, express my appreciation to all the speakers, starting from the inaugural speech to the final one. It has been an enriching experience. A couple of things that have emerged from this is that science is the greatest achievement of humans. The greatest achievement of humans. And what we find over the years is that science, the pace at which science is progressing is accelerating at a tremendous speed, the acceleration. And this is a great thing. It's a fantastic thing. And with the coming of the neurological sciences, computer sciences or AI, the speed is staggeringly high. And this is a wonderful experience, but it's a double-edged sword. When something is so powerful, it can bring immense benefit for us. It also can do immense destruction. It cuts both ways. It all depends on how you use it. AK-47 gun, is very, very efficient. But if it is used properly, it will be a great benefit for humans. But if it is used wrongly, hundreds of people will die, or even thousands of people will die, depending on how many people are involved in it. You see? And so it can cut both ways. And what should be our strategy here? Our strategy here, I think, should be to maximize the positive effects and to minimize the negative effects. This should be the strategy of us humans, especially those of us who are well educated and who are aware of these things. So maximize the benefits and minimize the harm. And how can you do this? Or how will you go about this? Maximize the benefits. So support your science, encourage science and scientists as much as possible. Very good. But at the same time, remind the scientists what I already mentioned, which some of you already repeated, that science is by humans and for humans. The human well-being can never be compromised. All this progress should be done in such a way that the human well-being is never compromised. Human dignity is never compromised, never sacrificed. This has to be kept in mind. And how can this be done? And this is where, the different constituencies will have to come in. We mentioned that unemployment will increase, no doubt. Okay, but there must be ways of giving employment to these people who are become unemployed. We cannot simply ignore them. Just dishing them some charity donations will not be enough. We have to explore new ways of making use of, giving them employment. Maybe moving over to other planets may be a solution that will come soon. Going to Mars and so on, and making our human colony in Mars is not a dream anymore. It's a reality. Different possibilities will have to be explored. More importantly, I would say, in a situation like this, where we are trying to maximize the benefit and minimize all the constituencies, representatives or experts from all the constituencies should come together in the spirit of collaboration, in the spirit of cooperation, in the spirit of mutual trust, and see what we can do to maximize and minimize this, the ill effect. Well, one of the things will be pass, innovative laws, innovative legislation will be required. Pegasus was mentioned. That's a new thing, but we should have very, very stringent and very strict to this thing. You cannot simply say national security and then wash your hands off. No. This kind of excuses, bahanas will not work. You have to, take responsibility for what you have done. And so all the constituencies should come together in the spirit of not accusing each other, collaboration, cooperation, and so that the greater good will come out of it. So stringent laws will have to be legislated, and they have to be implemented with a meticulous care. Not only in this particular case, think about the nuclear plants we have set up in India and other places, various places. All the security measures which are required for a nuclear plant must be meticulously followed. You see, so all the constituencies will have to come together and work in the spirit of collaboration, the spirit of cooperation, in the spirit of bringing out a greater good. And once we do this, then we are doing the right thing. We are making progress in the right way. And that is why I say, as science progresses more and more, the collaboration of the different constituencies, that means scientific community, the ethical community, the political community, all the communities should come together, put their heads together, and come up with innovative laws, creative laws, and legislation, and then implement them meticulously. Then we have a bright future. Dr. Allan mentioned about we want a prosperous future. We'll have a prosperous future then. And so finally, let me simply say, in this era of science progressing so much, the need for science-citizen dialogue also has increased. Today, the need for the different constituencies, particularly scientists and ethical people and religious people coming together, is not a mere option which we can take or leave. No, it is fast becoming an obligation. We have to do that. And if we fail to do that, we will have done harm. We will bring doom to us. The boom of science can become the doom of humanity. We don't want that. So let us encourage this kind of meeting. This kind of meeting is a place where the different constituencies come together. Let us have more of this kind of thing in various parts of India. I suppose, CASRS, which Allan started, and the principal, K.T. Thomas, and various father, I forget his name now, they were all encouraging it. It is almost 15, 16 years old, doing wonderful work. This should come not only here, not only in Nagpur, Sabas College, everywhere it should come. In all colleges, not only Christian colleges, every college should have this. Every center, every major city should have this. And that is the way to respond to this thing in a constructive way, and also in a creative way, and in a way that will bring a prosperous humanity, a joyful humanity, an enriched humanity, a greater humanity, a happy humanity. And I thank once again the organizers. and wish all of you the very best.
Thank you, Father, for the great words. As a concluding remark, I would like to share with you the famous quote by F. Capra. Science does not need religion, and religion does not need science, but man needs both. We are now moving to the valedictory session. On the behalf of SFS College, I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the speakers for gracing our webinar on recent developments in artificial intelligence and their impact on religion and society, and sharing with us their findings and opinions. I mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Christopher Abraham, in spite of busy schedule, found time and delivered inaugural talk. Thank you, sir. We are grateful to Father Job for delivering a lecture on recent developments in AI and ethical implications. Thank you, Father. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Father Sebastian for giving us information about AI and again ethical implications. I may like to express our sincere thanks to Father Allan Tavares for giving a talk on are AI and religion compatible? Implications for ethics in society. Thank you, Father. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Father Job for your support and motivation to carry out such webinar. Thank you, Father. We are all inspired by your great words. We are also thankful to Indian Institute of Science and Religion for continued support. I am also grateful to Father Patrick for the constant encouragement. I am also thankful to Dr. K.T. Thomas, our principal, for his valuable suggestion and support. Thank you, sir. I also wish to express my gratitude to computer department teachers, Ms. Itika Lakewar, Reshma Kazi, Rashmi Pandey, Pinky Gidwani, Neha Shinde, Pranita for providing technical support. Last but not the least, I am also thankful to Sahil Mehshram and Marianne and all the other students who worked very hard to make this event a successful. Now it's time for National Anthem. Now I request all of you to stand for National Anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
There is an announcement. Please fill the feedback form before 10 a.m. tomorrow. It will take about a week for us to issue your e-certificate of participation. Participants are requested to remain in the respective WhatsApp group till you receive your certificate. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.